global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello guys, welcome back to our channel. We have a very controversial news to share with you, and after the news you will determine for yourself where you stand. Is it for or against? As Professor Yusuf has said that Igbos literally owns Nigeria and not Fulani, based on, he had his own reasons for saying Igbos actually own Nigeria. He based it on investment which are actually worth billions, and he said the common Fulanis or the Fulanis do not have anything close to it. The former executive secretary of National Health Insurance Scheme, I'm talking about NHIS, Professor Usman Yusuf, has described claims that the Fulani own Nigeria as a fallacy and sentimental nonsense. Igbo own all the hotels, they own banks, and Yoruba own the newspapers and banks. What do the Fulani own? It's just a sentimental nonsense. Yusuf said yesterday. He said that the erroneous narrative was being pushed by unscrupulous elements with a nefarious agenda. According to him, Fulani people were in the minority in the federal civil service compared to the Yoruba and the Igbo people. The Katsina-born professor added that Yoruba and Igbo people were also far richer than their Fulani counterpart. Yusuf said that there was therefore no justification for claiming that the Fulani own or control Nigeria. Which part of Nigeria do they own? Igbo people are richer than Fulani people. Yoruba people are also richer than Fulani people. There are more Igbo and Yoruba in federal civil service than the Fulani. Does any Fulani own a bank? Does any Fulani own a media house? Does any Fulani own a hotel? All the hotels in Abuja and land are owned by either Igbos or the Yorubas. Is Abuja Igbo land? Can Fulani own any in the east? What Igbo own in the north? No. If you have never been to the north, or yes, if you have never been to the north, come and see the landed properties that the Igbos have. With the Fulani, which Fulani do you know? Or which Fulani do not have and cannot have in Igbo land? Whoever says that Fulani man owns Nigeria, let him come and say how. Fulani man occupies Aso Rock, and so what? An Igbo man should come and occupy Aso Rock and give the Fulani all the material wealth he has in the north. That is nonsense. Well, you have heard what Professor Yusuf has said about his claim, and the question now is, what is he basing it on? Now let's look at this thing critically. I always like this kind of information, because the truth be told, a white man during the Tonenumelu conference, he's trying to raise millionaires, one of his conferences fairly recently, did an analogy of Alaba market. In fact, they took their time. I'm talking about the white, the American, took his time, American businessman, took his time and studied Alaba market and the analogy and the metrics, the systems they use to work in Alaba. He said it's one of the best in the world. And I was curious. When he went further, he explained, he said, look, that while other people are looking for capital, what the Igbo man does, and it is true everywhere. Go and check wherever Igbo man is selling warehouse or selling is a distributor. You will notice that analogy. They will come in, they have boys. They teach them apprenticeship. They sometimes they stay as much as 7 years, some 10 years, some 5 years, some 3 years, depending. After they finish serving their master, quote and unquote, in that their master, you don't steal, you don't cheat, you don't do anything nefarious. Just follow the master, serve him in totality, serve his family in totality. Once he graduates you, he will settle you. And the settlement is very unique. You settle, you pay your house rent for your stuff and give you money equivalent for you to stock up your shop. Sometimes they even stock up the shop for you, get you a shop and tell you, I have freed you. You're now a free man. Go and start up your life. And that's why if you go to Alaba International Market, they are so much, they are compact, they are a family. And that's why when you go to an Igbo man shop, if he doesn't have, he will tell you, let me go to warehouse. That warehouse is not his shop, it's another man's shop. But the whole essence is that money will not leave that market. That money you brought into that market will not go back with you. he will buy that product and they'll make money. Even if it means him not making the money, he will sell on behalf of his brother, make a little profit for himself. So at the end of the day, the money is a win-win. Okay, now, but for the Yorubas, I thank God that Professor Yusuf did not neglect the Yorubas, because the Yorubas are also a highly very intelligent tribe. Okay, when it comes to civil service, when it comes to paid employment, when it comes to parastatals, go and check critically. Okay, I don't want to take tribalism into the picture. These guys have grown in rank and file. Now, Nigeria as a country is made up of a lot of nationalities. Okay, but if you look at it very critically, among the nationalities, Fulanis are like appendages for the Hausas. So when you call Hausas, generally what we see is Hausa Fulani. Okay, when you talk about Fulani, you see Hausa Fulani. We can't specify the difference, but a typical Hausa man will tell you the difference between the two tribes. All right, but now, right now, the Hausas are looking as if they're even marginalized, because it's not the Fulanis we get to see. Now, typical Hausa man is fully marginalized in his own home. But the truth be told, when it comes to taking the country forward, check well, let's leave tribalism. The Yorubas, the Igbos, and the Southerners generally have done very well. When it comes to contributing GDP, check very well. Oil and gas is the one producing that, and that's from the south. Check Lagos, their taxation policy, the way they tax, because of the head offices in Lagos, makes them comfortable as a state. And that's also from the south, and that's the Yoruba land. Although in that same Lagos, a lot of tribes are also embedded in it. That notwithstanding, you just find out that if you check the states that bring out the most, that generate most income for the central, I'm talking about the states that have been chunking out profit, income, and yes, income for Nigeria as a whole. You notice it's from the southern part of the country. Most of them is actually from the southern part of the country, from Lagos to Ogun State to Rivers to Akwa Ibom to Delta. You just find out that there's something they're producing. I'm not saying they're not doing, but comparing the two sides, region, the south is much more. Okay, and if you want to look at it very critically, remove the elites. Let's remove the political elite. Okay, let's look at the average Fulani and the average Igbo Yoruba man. You find that in their own stand, they are doing very well. I'm talking about the Yorubas to Igbos. Go to Alaba, majorly Igbo man are selling. They're the ones selling all the goods you get to see. They are doing well on their own. They can stand there. Yes, you can say Dangote, but if you check well, Dangote himself got funded very seriously by the banks. Okay, and removing sentiment aside, I feel the man has not said anything bad when it comes to profitability to this country. I give it to the South. When you say Yorubas, Igbos, they're basically the Southerners. Okay, so to me, yes, the Southerners have proved to the country that they contribute much more to the country's welfare. They contribute much more to the GDP of the country. They contribute much more to the financial sustenance of this country than even the Fulanis. Okay, the cows. Even the cows they rear is now putting an average Nigerian into trouble. It's giving them so much unrest. So to some extent, Southerners are beginning to consider maybe we should start thinking something else. We should start thinking out of the box. Maybe we should start rearing our own cows. If we can't, then we should rear goats, rear chicken. We should rear snails, rear fish. That catfish you can do. There's some tilapia you can do on your own, so that we can have some peace in the land. But let's quickly feel the pulse of Nigeria, because obviously Nigerians are talking about the situation. And if you ask me, he's not far from the point. We should begin to, let's leave tribalism out of it. If they tell you that you are not contributing anything, don't feel bad. Look inward. What is it that you have a comparative advantage over? If it's your cows, you can rear well, go and rear it in your village. Stop disturbing the peace of the whole nation. Because if you begin to say, let's check this GDP, you find out that these guys are doing well. I'm talking about the Southerners. And if you keep continuing that, it's trying to own the country as a nation. Like the other time, one of these Tiala guys said that until Southern Kaduna, we know that they should stop treating them like inferior citizens. They will always be killing in Southern Kaduna. And that's an infantry to say such. Do you understand? So we will continue like this. We keep having the same problems here and there. But let's generalize because Nigerians have started talking, and you can it will amaze you what they are saying. This way, I'm saying, of course, do you need the rocket science to tell you that Nigerians are South Yorubas and Igbos are definitely the majority. It's just that these guys have decided to bond us together by having the bond to rule mentality. This one here is saying, we don't need your Nigeria again. We are Biafrans. We want to go. Free us. It is well. This one here is saying, who says so? Nigerians, we are in this together, Fulani or not. We are one Nigeria. Okay. This one here is saying, story, story, story. We want to go. Leave us. Let us go. This one is even saying this one that. This one here is saying, we are Yorubas. We also want to live. We are tired of the born to rule ability. But funny enough, if you ask me, Yorubas have actually enjoyed a bit of rulership. I'm surprised they're really, sorry to say this, but I'm surprised they're really asking to go out as well because Vice President has been a Yoruba. He's still a Yoruba man. I'm talking about Professor Yemi Osibajo. He's still a Yoruba man. The one before the last. I'm not. I'm talking about Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Before Goodluck Ebele Jonathan was Olusegun Obasanjo. He wasn't doing badly. He was a Yoruba man. So I'm so surprised they're actually also generally, who is even happy with the way situations are in Nigeria? That's where we're going to wrap it up. What's your take on this? Do you believe or agree with Professor Yusuf that the Igbos you own the Nigerian state? But looking at his write-up, he didn't just say the Igbos. What he meant was the Southerners, because in nutshell, what he was saying is that the Yorubas rule the civil service while the Igbos rule the business world, which means in technicality, the South own Nigeria. Do you agree with his analogy or do you disagree? Let's meet in our comment section. Give your point. What do you really think? Do you agree?